Hello, welcome back to another video. Today it's going to be quite a long video because we're actually doing a full guide updated in 2022 on how to Hackintosh. So, Hackintosh is over the years is become really easy because the Hackintosh community is so supportive of any queries and problems that arise when you're on your way to building your dream Hackintosh. Like, for example, there's plenty of Facebook groups just dedicated to just Hackintoshing, where you can find your open core EFI folders for your component, so you don't even need to build your own EFI folder. One of the most asked questions is, does Apple Silicon actually kill Hackintosh? It doesn't, know, because Apple recently released the M series chip for the MacBook, iMac, Mac Mini and Mac Studio, but it doesn't mean that Hackintosh is over as of yet. In the future we may see Apple not supporting Intel Macs anymore, but I don't think that'll happen until plus 20 years, which would obviously kill all Hackintosh builds. But so far it looks like Apple's going to support the Intel Mac for a while, as obviously the Mac Pro is still running on an Intel chip. So, is building a Hackintosh cheaper than buying a real Mac? Of course it is, 1000%. So your price to power performance is absolutely great on Hackintosh. For example, for Apple's $54,000 Mac Pro, you can actually get more performance for about $10,000. The main reason why most people decide to build a Hackintosh is because of the price. It's very cheap. So now we're going to go through a brief guide on how to actually build a Hackintosh. So you can see on the screen I've got a torrent server running, which I'll go through in a minute. Once we go through basic steps, we'll get onto it in a minute. So the first step really to building a Hackintosh is you need to find the right hardware that will work with macOS. For example, a GPU that is directly supported on macOS through Metal. So an example of it is the RX 6900 XT, which is fully supported through Metal with macOS. So it means you don't need to add any kernel extensions, or you might know them as kexts, or drivers to get it work with macOS. CPU RAM are more supported, with Intel being the most supported because obviously Intel is on the existing Macs, although AMD builds are more than possible. Intel CPUs are more supported as most older Macs use them, like I said, which means your iGPU, which you use for video editing, is supported through pass-through. You may want to use it when video editing for faster rendering, and the actual video that I'm filming right now will be edited using a Hackintosh build. RAM you don't really need to worry about, as it doesn't really matter what RAM you use. The main flaw, I would say, for building a Hackintosh is finding your GPU that's actually supported. But next we're going to talk about a virtualization platform called Proxmox, which is a Type 1 hypervisor. It's a brilliant piece of software. Basically you can run virtual machines, which is like a physical machine emulated, making it a virtual machine. So what this is it's an operating system, or more like a kernel, that allows you to run multiple machines on the same machine. So first I'm going to walk through how to actually get Proxmox. So you're going to need an ISO file. So if I go onto proxmox.com, as you can see we're on the website. I head to the download section, and we want the virtual environment. You want an ISO image or a disk image file, and you want the latest one here. So you can download it as a BitTorrent, which I will show you right now. You click download, and as you can see it appears there at the bottom. Now I can go up to my transmission, which is a torrenting software that can be deployed using Docker. I've just got it running on a Kubernetes cluster, but you find your actual torrent through your downloads. you won't be able to see that. And then you click upload, and Proxmox will begin to download. It's about 1 GB in size, so not too bad. Depending again on your internet connection, it could take 5 minutes, or it could take 10, or an hour, or 6 hours. Really depends on your internet connection. So we're going to also need a software called Etcher. So it'll be responsible for writing the Proxmox ISO. So basically we want to make the ISO bootable to our USB drive. So we need to obviously download. So here we go, this is the website. It's pretty straightforward to use, so select image, select drive and flash. That's literally how easy it is. I won't be walking through it because it's literally that easy. You don't really need a tutorial on how to do it. But once you have your ISO and your USB drive ready, you're going to actually install Proxmox. Now this is fairly easy. I'll throw in a video about here on me actually installing Proxmox from one of my other videos. So let's actually install it. So we're technically booting up the computer now, and you're gonna hold the boot option key, which is usually escape, F8 or F12. I know that for Asus motherboards it is F8, and you'll be greeted with a BIOS sort of boot menu section that should look a bit like this. You're obviously going to want to select your USB drive, but because I'm virtualizing this, it's a DVD-ROM instead. So you want to select it. If it doesn't boot first time, you want to change the secure boot configuration and turn that off, like so, and save and restart. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, which sometimes is true, but you should be greeted with this screen once you've booted up to your USB drive. You just want to press enter. Sorry about the screen flickering, it's because I'm virtualizing it. But we should get an IP address from our network, which it has grabbed 1.79, which is great. I also recommend at least a quad-core CPU and 8 GB of RAM, because Proxmox itself uses 1 GB of RAM. So bear that in mind. I'm just going to turn local cursor off. So it'll give you obviously EULA. You just obviously read all of it and agree. I've read it all. And you want to select the hard drive or SSD you want to install it on, which I have here. You want to select your region, mine's United Kingdom, and you want to set a password that you'll remember, and also set an email, like that. Click next. Give it a host name, so I'm just going to do pv2.local because I already have one which I'm using to virtualize this. This should already be filled out. If it doesn't, you've got a problem with your network interface, and you want to use some forums on the Proxmox website on how to fix it. We'll click next, and then it's tell you what it's wanted to do. Make sure this is ticked and click install. Now, depending on your speed of your disk, it could take quite a while, or it could take a couple of seconds. But I'm going to show you. I won't make you wait, and I'm going to meet you back here when it's installed. So as you can see, it's on 99% now. Just installing Grub, and then we should be greeted with a reboot screen. So here we are, it's telling you the IP address. Make sure you note that down, and it should automatically start to restart. So it is done for me. It says please remove the ISO boot media, so once you've done that, make sure you have, and we should be rebooting. So as you can see, we're greeted with a Grub. I'm just going to press enter, or you could just leave it, but I've just pressed enter. So we're currently booting. Might fail because I'm virtualizing it, but as you can see, it gives us the IP. So we're going to switch over to Chrome, and we are going to type in the IP address. So what we're going to need to do is type in HTTPS and then the IP address, which I think is 79. Yes. And then colon 8006, which is the port. Press enter. Obviously connection is not private because it's a self-signed cert. The username by default is root, and then the password is the one that you set in installation. It is free, but if you need help, it's not. So we can see that we have a Proxmox, and as you can see, it's using about 1 GB of RAM. So we have Proxmox installed. Next, obviously, we need our actual macOS Catalina file. So to do that, I'm obviously going back on torrenting software. So you probably should get a torrenting server, because I'm using it. We've got this macOS collection from archive.org, which includes every macOS version. You can download it as ISO images here, so obviously Ventura is there. I haven't got that working as of yet, but I have seen the comment about the Ventura on where to get the ISO file right here. So yeah, that's answered your question. I just can't seem to get it working yet on the Ryzen 7 2700X. So obviously I'm going to be just using Big Sur, but I'm using actual torrent files, so you download it there. And then if you're unfamiliar on how to use something like transmission, you literally pause the download, go to the eye at the side, click on files, and then you select which file you want to download. So for example, I don't know, this file, you select that, and then you click start, and then it will seed when it's finished. Pretty straightforward, easy to use, but once you've got your macOS installer, you're good to go. You also need OpenCore, which is pretty easy. OpenCore ISO download, which you type it into Google. First link here, the GitHub link, and you download the iso.gz file, which I'll do now. And you want to use something called WinRAR to actually extract it, and then you will get an ISO file, which is really easy. So we're now going to actually go on to creating the macOS VM. Now it can be a pain, which that's why I'm walking it through with you today. So we're here in the Proxmox environment. You should already have this installed. Enter your password root, and your password is whatever you set before. So what we're going to do is click create VM. We also need to make sure our ISOs are uploaded, by the way, so I've just got it as a SMB share, but if you've got local volume, there you go. So under ISO images, I've got a lot, I know, but OpenCore 17 ISO, you should have that uploaded, and also your Big Sur ISO. I'm using Big Sur. You can use Monterey, Ventura if that works for you. I'm just using Big Sur because I know that it works. So what we're going to do, actually I'm going to actually use Catalina because I know that works. What we're going to do is click create VM. So here we are. Give it an ID, so I'm going to do 1000. Name it, so obviously macOS. I'll just put YT for reference. And the OS type, you're going to set the OpenCore ISO first as the bootable medium, and then set the operating system type to other. The system is going to be a Q35 machine with OVMF configuration, and just untick pre-enroll keys. TPM you're going to leave as standard, and we're going to go on to disks. So the device is going to be VirtIO block, and then you're going to set it to 64 gigabytes. So I'm going to put it on an SSD because obviously it's better. The CPU, quad core is better, and then do penring. Or you can do host, but I like doing penring because it makes it look a bit better showing an Intel CPU than unknown. Memory at least 4 gigabytes. Network, we're going to do VMware VMXNet 3 and untick firewall. So we're going to click finish, and we should see VM 1000 show up at the side. So there we go. We have successfully created the VM. Now we're going to add the Catalina Boot Iso or whatever you've got. Make sure IDE 0 is listed, and select your Catalina Iso. Click add, and you can see they're both DVD drives, but we need to change that. So to change that, go to PVE and then shell or your node name. I've called it PVE, and do nano etc PVE QEMU system QEMU server, and then 1000 /1F. We're going to change the IDE volumes to, instead of media CD-ROM, we're going to do it as cache unsafe. Which basically means it changes them into disks. There we go. We're not finished yet. Head over to my blog, and you want to copy and paste the arguments from the blog provided. I'm gonna use the old blog because the new blog's not published, but it will be at the time of the video. So you're gonna use these argument files. So I'm using AMD, so I'll copy these. But if you're using Intel, you copy that one. Go back, go all the way to the bottom of the file, and paste it as plain text. Control X, Y, and enter. If we go back over to the macOS VM, you can see that there are hard disks, and we set some arguments as well. On the boot order, you want to make sure that the OpenCore ISO is at the top, followed by the Catalina or Monterey ISO that you selected. Then it's as simple as actually booting it up. So let's do that. So we're going to start the guest. I apologise if it's the resolution isn't great. It's because I'm capturing this very weirdly. So we're greeted with this boot menu, which is UEFI shell. We're going to press enter. Now, any other scenario, this wouldn't be great. We're just going to press enter again. But we're actually going to do FS0 and then /system /library /core services /boot.efi. Press enter, and as you can see, we're greeted with the Apple logo, which is absolutely brilliant. So we're going to actually wait for this to boot up. So a video that you'll see right now is us actually upgrading from Catalina to Monterey. I decided to do this because it's more suitable for future macOS builds, as obviously we're in 2022 now, not 2019. So enjoy this upgrade. So as you can see, it's now brung up the install macOS Monterey pop-up window, so we're just going to click continue, agree to all terms, and we're going to click continue. We're going to enter our password, and now we're going to wait again. So it says about 20 minutes. So I'll see you in 20 minutes. So you will have actually seen updates to macOS Monterey as well in this video. Yeah, we updated to Monterey, which is great. It's better than Catalina, but you'll see the install of Catalina and also updating to Monterey. We've already done the EFI folder, A great tool as well is called Hackintosh, which is brilliant. I do not have it installed at the moment. I do not think. Here it is. If I open it up, it basically tells you everything about the computer. So obviously 8 gigs of RAM, yada yada yada. What serial number it's got, what peripherals are plugged in, everything. We've got some boot options that you can change. So the name of the boot loader, which is OpenCore, but you can automatically set up PCIe. Power, you can set power options, just certain utilities. My favourite is displays because it allows you to eject an EDID to your display, so you can actually make it where it says Apple iMac Retina display, Cinema HD display, yada yada yada. The list could go on. So we've done that now, so that's brilliant. Now we go on to actually passing through GPUs. Now, I cannot show you this, but it's fairly easy. I will show you, but it won't work for me. So let's switch back to the Proxmox environment. All you need to do to pass through a GPU is click Add, PCI device, Add devices, and then select your GPU here, like so. Go on Advanced as well, tick all of these boxes, boot up macOS, and it should work. That's if everything is correct. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Hackintosh guide. Thanks ever so much for watching this video. Goodbye.